Delve into Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction to uncover the secrets of charm and attraction. Divided into 2 sections, it shares tales of charismatic individuals and offers techniques for captivating hearts and minds. Our 35 video episodes showcase these strategies, guiding you toward becoming magnetic and irresistible. Episode 11 breaks down Greene's take on the 18 distinct personality types most susceptible to the art of attracting people. The core concept is that nobody feels 100% content and whole. We all have some inner emptiness or void that makes us crave something missing. The skillful charmer's talent lies in sensing and tapping into these vulnerabilities to reel their target in. Here's are the 18 victim types outlined in Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. 1. The reformed rake Siren. Used to love the thrill of shamelessly flirting with multiple partners, but had to give it up due to settling into a relationship, aging, social pressures. Still harbors an inner resentment and feeling that a wildly sensual part of them is missing. To seduce. Spark their interest subtly to make them feel like the pursuer again. For reformed rakes, let them slowly burn with rekindled desire and give chase. For reformed sirens, make them feel they still have that irresistible power over you. 2. The disappointed dreamer. Consumed romance novels, films, stories as a child youth that planted grand ideals. But real relationships inevitably fell short of those escapist fantasies. Now has an underlying bitterness and disappointment with the mundane realities of love. To seduce. Give them a taste of the adventures, passion, myth they crave. Take them on an imaginative journey and let them construct the rest in their mind. Just don't let reality shatter the romantic illusion you've created. 3. The Pampered Royal. As a child, every need, whim, desire was indulged by doting parents. Grew up accustomed to constant pampering, entertainment, distraction. Now easily bored and restless, seeking perpetual novelty and variety. To seduce. Provide an endless buffet of new experiences, surprises, spectacles. Keep an air of unpredictability, surprise them by revealing new layers. Once hooked, they'll become dependent on you as the spoiling figure in their life. 4. The new prude. Outwardly a stickler for social decorum, political correctness, propriety, but inwardly harbors a conflicting fascination with guilty pleasures and transgression. Rigid propriety is an overcompensation to repress their improper desires. To seduce. Embody the danger and naughtiness that so intrigues them. Let them initially try to reform you, as that will only deepen their fixation. Once the seal is broken, they'll unleash torrents of repressed energy. 5. The crushed star. Were once the center of attention for their talents, charms, looks. But those glory days are behind them, leaving them resentfully cast aside. Though acting like they've accepted it, they deeply long to bathe in spotlight again. To seduce. Simply allow them to be the star by making them the center of attention. Bask in their glow, feed their need for applause, get them reminiscing about their prime. They'll be flooded with gratitude and shower you with their repressed passion. 6. The novice. The young and sheltered, curious about broadening their limited experience. Anxious for a worldly initiation into culture, sophistication, knowledge, vices. Books and films have exposed them to these mysteries they now yearn to taste. To seduce. Slowly reveal yourself as a mixture of innocence and corruption. Use artistic seduction, romantic language, aesthetic raffineria, rites of initiation. Titillate their senses and make everything seem darkly whimsical. 7. The Conqueror. At their core is a restless drive to compete, dominate, and overcome obstacles. Extremely aggressive and energetic in pursuing goals, acquiring power, but will quickly discard you if you make yourself too easy a conquest. To seduce. Give them a protracted game of cat and mouse before eventual surrender. Be challenging, play hard to get, use coquetry to get them charging after you over and over. Once they've finally conquered, they'll be hooked on you, their ultimate prize. 8. The exotic fetishist feels alienated from their own cultures, backgrounds, roots, and harbors an idealized fascination with anything different, foreign, strange. The exotic represents freedom, rebellion against their inherent boredom. To seduce, take on the air of an exotic figure from a distant land. Acquire aesthetic trappings, fashion, art, musics that seem alien and sensual. They'll fill in the rest with their feverish, exotic fantasy projections about you. 9. The drama queen. Chronic victim who unconsciously creates emotional chaos and conflicts. They crave drama, turmoil, and crises as antidotes to existential boredom and emptiness. Thrive on feeling pain and suffering, then being rescued or comforted. To seduce, be prepared for emotional firestorms and constant upheaval. Give them the mental anguish, theatrical strain, and melodrama they crave. It's intense, but can be an exciting challenge if you don't mind dysfunctional dynamics. 10. The professor. Overly intellectual to the point of being disconnected from their body. Paralyzed by overthinking and self-consciousness around physical indulgence. Yet they envy and crave pure animalistic desire pleasure to escape their minds. To seduce, tap into their repressed sensual side by embodying the physical ideal. Use your body, not your mind, to overwhelm and intoxicate their senses. Make them feel desired to bring their suppressed cravings to the surface. 11. The beauty. Has been worshipped for their physical aesthetic alone and little else. Objectified, they've had their other qualities like intelligence overlooked. They're hungry for their fuller identity and inner self to be appreciated. To seduce, validate their unseen intellectual creative sides to thrill them. Appreciate all aspects of them as a complex, multi-layered person. Some coquetry can also stir them into actively pursuing you for once. 12. The aging baby. Refuses to let go of their childlike spirit, remaining irresponsible and juvenile. Subconsciously fears maturity, wanting to perpetually play and be taken care of. But their Peter Pan act grates on others who see them as immature and obnoxious. To seduce, indulge their youthful antics with an air of parental patience. Be the understanding yet firm adult figure who allows and corrects as needed. They'll transfer their dependence onto you, escaping pressures to grow up. 13. The rescuer. Drawn to swooping in and solving the problems of vulnerable targets. It satisfies their savior complex and lets them feel empowered, morally superior. But it's often a way to distract from their own insecurities and flaws. To seduce. Exaggerate your own personal weaknesses and self-victimization. Make them feel you desperately need their help and compassion to be rescued. Once hooked, they'll endlessly try to fix the neediness you keep reinforcing. 14. The roue. A once lively, indulgent pleasure seeker who went too far. Now cynical, jaded, bored, and longing for the thrills of their youth. The innocence they used to corrupt is now what intrigues them most. To seduce. If you're young, play up your naivete and make them pursue, corrupt you. Resist them, so they relive the thrill of an active chase and seduction. Even feigning dislike will spur their obsession with recapturing past glories. 15. The idol worshipper. A deep well of insecurity that no amount of looking inward can fill. So they attach themselves to gurus, causes, movements that give life purpose. Once they get burnt out on one, they go searching for a new idol to pour themselves into. To seduce. Embody the sorts of idealized qualities they're constantly seeking. Keep the dynamic on an elevated, abstract level of philosophies and ideas. Make yourself their new favorite idol to worship, displacing more rational thinkers. 16. the sensualist, possessed by a zest for rich aesthetic and sensory experience, so attuned to tastes, smells, sights, sounds, textures that they need constant gratification. Come alive around sources of beauty while drab environments drain them. To seduce, overwhelm their sensory cravings across as many planes as possible, from fashion to gourmet meals, tastefully curated spaces and sensual sounds. Even physical sexual stimulation works. Tap into their visceral indulgences. 17. The lonely leader. Though powerful, they're distrustful due to being surrounded by sycophants. Treated as superior but isolated, they crave someone who connects authentically. To seduce, treat them as an equal by being blunt instead of obsequious flattery. A dose of pain, tough love, followed by tenderness, will pierce their shell. Once their loneliness is sated, a deep dependency can form as you become their respite. 18. The floating gender. Chafes against rigid masculinity, femininity, and restrictive gender norms. Has repressed sides they acutely wish to express without judgment. To seduce, you must be a complementary soul free of hang-ups about gender fluidity. Create a safe space for them to freely mix both masculine and feminine energies. But avoid this type if you're polarized in traditional gender roles yourself. In summary, the key for any prospective seducer is 1. Analyzing the target's core desires, insecurities typified by one of these personas. 2. Selectively revealing traits that posture you as the missing piece that can satisfy them. 3. Slowly drawing them into your web by personifying the fantasy they crave most. The basic idea is to discern your target's primary desire and then artfully fulfill that yearning through skilled seduction tactics. Greene's typologies aim to enlighten seducers on courting diverse victims driven by complex psychological motivations. Now, something important. Make it a daily habit to learn something truly beneficial that enhances your life. Remember, the content you feed your mind is like nourishment for your brain. Be deliberate in your choices. Otherwise, be wary. Algorithms are often crafted to manipulate your thoughts. Reflect on that. Now, we're excited to announce that we're now welcoming contributions through subscriptions to aid our upcoming projects and bring you exceptional content. Join us by subscribing today.